Hello agents and welcome to another Deadside video. Today we are going to be deep diving into the 0.1.7 update, which added new guns, the new scopes, a lock for the doors as well, and a couple of other things. And if you haven't seen my 0.1.7 preview video, it's a brief overview of the stuff they added. But in this video we are going to talk a little bit more about the weapons, the scopes, how it works, and more importantly answer the question of if this update is the update that will bring you back into Deadside. So the new SMG, the PP19, is alright. The main weakness is the mag, which is only 35 rounds instead of 50 like we see in other games. So when we look at the damage table of this weapon, it's really weak against heavy armors, but it's alright against light and medium armors. But if the developers balance the weapon and put it to 50 rounds per mag, I think this one could be a pretty good weapon in the future. We will see if that's something they want to do. Moving on to the AUG, I think the AUG is probably the best weapon in this update. It has a really high rate of fire and it uses the same ammo as the Hunter, so it's really cheap. So overall the damage is pretty good, fairly standard for an AR. It is a lot of damage against light and medium body armors, and it's pretty good against the heaviest body armors. So overall this is probably one of the best weapons in this update. So the next one is called the Grom, I believe, in the game, and this is essentially the same weapon as the AUG. It's very much the same, the damage table is exactly the same. The main difference is that on this weapon you cannot put sights, so you can't put red dots and you cannot put the scopes. I believe you can attach a flashlight, but that is the same with the AKSU and the AKSM, which is a new version that they have added with this update as well. The AKSU, you cannot equip any of the sights, while the AKSM, you can put the scopes and everything else. So I think that's a new direction they are taking with the weapons. They are giving you pretty much twice the same weapon. One is a little bit cheaper because you cannot put the accessories, while the other one is a little bit more tactical. Now the next one is the 5.7. Now this one was the only pistol we got in this update, and it has a 20 rounds mag. Now this makes the 5.7 the pistol with the best ammo capacity in Deadside, and the damage is fairly alright, but because it has the 20 rounds, it makes this weapon, this pistol, the best when it comes to damage over time. Now, last but not least, the grenade launcher. This is an interesting one because it's something fairly new in Deadside. It needs balancing in my opinion. So the damage seems alright, actually kind of like on the weak side, and the damage obviously varies depending on how far the grenade landed compared to where you were. But when I was testing the weapon, it felt like you needed at least 2 of those to land right on you to kill you. The thing that I think needs balancing is obviously the cost of the weapon, because you can get this one for only 200,000. But also the ammo, because the ammo, you buy them per unit, 6,000 per grenade, so that's kind of alright, but you can stack them. You can stack up to 10 ammo per inventory slot, so you can literally become a walking artillery, which is a little bit too OP in my opinion. Now let's talk about the scopes. There are 2 main things I want to discuss about the scopes: the implementation and the limitation. The technology they are using for the scopes when you zoom in and out is not PIP, picture in picture, like you have in many other games. Instead, it uses the cameras you have in the game. So as you can see, when you zoom in, when you use the scope, everything within the scope and around the scope is getting zoomed in. So basically your camera is being pushed forward, or they change the parameters of the camera to achieve this, which means that it's not super realistic, but it's well optimized. Okay, so that's the technology they have decided to use in Deadside for the scopes. Fair enough. So the pros is that it will be well optimized when using scopes. The cons is that first, you won't be able to do a lot of fancy stuff like thermal scopes. And the other thing is that you will use the view range of the camera setups in the game. So as you can see right now on my screen, when I was at 400 meters, I couldn't see my target anymore, and when I was at around 380 meters, boom, I can see my target again. Which means that even if you have the best scopes in the game, it will be fairly hard to have long range fight with scopes. So the big question is this update going to bring a lot of players back into the game? Is this update going to save Deadside? It's really not the question. The current player base is good enough to keep the game alive. The real question is this update for everyone? And obviously it is not. The scopes and the new weapons are really going to be appealing to people who like PvP. The kind of players who were playing Deadside at release and then have been asking for scopes for a long time. The kind of players who play games like PUBG, DayZ and so on. Because scopes are going to provide new ways of playing PvP, new strategy, new tactics. So that update, 0.1.7, definitely delivers on this. But don't get me wrong, I do think that scopes need to be improved to be as good as what you can see in other games. Now, for the PvE content, obviously we will get more in due time. But I see two different dialogues within the community. There are people who think that all we need is just more places where we would get missions, and we need early crash sites and drops and so on. And then there are the people who want more diversity in PvE. And I think we need a mix of both, but I don't think that adding more missions to the map, just new spawn zones, will be enough to improve the diversity of PvE in the game. In fact, I think right now what we need is all that PvE content to lead to something better, more important, some part of the end game. So to conclude, if you are a massive PvP player, if you love playing DayZ, Scum, PUBG and games like this for the PvP, I think this update will please you. I think this update will be great for you because it will be a nice first iteration into making PvP closer to what you have in other games. If you're into the PvP/PvE experience with richer PvE content, I think you're gonna have to wait a lot longer for that. Anyway, agents, this is it for this video. Do let me know what you think about this update in the comments below and what you would like to see in the next updates as well. What are your priorities and how you will imagine PvE to lead to something bigger and better than just looting stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to support the Rotation YouTube channel. And we will be back next time, probably with a video talking about this idea I have to make the PvE aspect of the game more interesting in Deadside. You take care, and I'll see you next time.